Hi everybody, Tiffany here with River City Advocacy and Counseling Center. This is our second video, so thanks for joining us. Just want to reiterate that I am just a human being, just a person. I have no credentials. I'm not a counselor. I'm not a therapist. I'm not a life coach. I am none of those things. I am just a person that deals with mental health stuff that is in isolation due to COVID, and I'm kind of trying to cope with my own stuff. And reaching out to counselors that I am lucky enough to work with to get some answers or some advice, suggestions about some of the issues that I'm finding in my own life or that are also being brought up to me in support groups or just over the internet or stuff that I'm seeing on Instagram. So I actually talked to Hannah this week. Hannah is one of our tried and true counselors that's been at RCA forever. She's awesome. So I reached out to her about self-care. Everything that I'm reading on Instagram and Facebook and Snapchat stories is about self-care and how we're supposed to be taking care of ourselves in this time and what that looks like. I previously have tried to take care of myself, and I do that by making a list of things that are suggested for me to do and doing those things, and then don't know why I still feel so tired. So that's been an interesting realization for me when I had it on my list that I needed to do all the things work related and house related and kid related, and then also I added to the list reading time and going to get my nails done and taking a nice hot bath, and not really thinking about what would actually bring joy to me. And now being in isolation and at home can make things a little bit more difficult, whereas before maybe self-care was going out for lunch with a friend or meeting somebody after work for whatever, and that is not really an option right now. So I reached out to Hannah and asked her some questions about just self-care, and I wanted to share some of this with you. She said, "This time of social distancing can have us feeling trapped, anxious, and or lonely. It is important during this season and really always to, one, know that self-care is not selfish, and that's something that's hard for all of us to understand, and two, self-care is something that you can do at home." This is the point that I really wanted to share with y'all from her. Self-care can consist of things that are relaxing or fun, energizing or restful, quiet or loud, active or still, creative or monotonous, productive or unproductive. So I really like that she pointed that out. Before, I think I had kind of an idea that self-care had to be all about relaxation and quiet and things like that. But sometimes self-care is watching an action movie for me, and sitting on the couch and watching an action movie and just allowing myself to enjoy it. She said that the point of self-care is for you. Spend some time thinking about healthy things you enjoy and make a list at home. So something that I'm going to do is I'm going to make a list of self-care ideas, and I'm going to stick them on the fridge so that the next time I'm kind of like, well, I have a little bit of time and I'm feeling drained and I don't know what I should do. And in the same way that I have a cleaning list and a cleaning calendar for the house, in the same way that I have kind of a cycle of when I get to check in with friends and things like that, I need to also have a resource for things that feel like self-care to me. So that's anything for me that brings joy. So sometimes that's watching a kind of mindless movie that doesn't require a whole lot of mental engagement or focus from me. So sitting on the couch and kind of watching something that's interesting, but that I could still get up and go do something real quick, or things like that. A bath sometimes can be relaxing and feel like self-care. Sometimes I feel like I have so many things I want to do and I feel like I'm trapped in the bathtub. So what works right now is self-care. What feels today like it's self-care and rejuvenating for you may not feel that way tomorrow or the next day. So having kind of a list on the fridge, I think, is going to be my plan for now, and going to that and seeing which things actually feel good to me. Hannah sent some ideas: cuddling up with a book, watching TV, watching a movie, painting your nails, a bubble bath, also home projects, which I actually really, really like that, because I kind of sometimes I feel like self-care is me outside playing with my plants, or self-care is trimming the shrubs in the backyard or things like that. And think that typically we think of self-care as being this relaxing activity where sometimes I have energy that I want to get out. Playing a game, walking in the neighborhood, bird watching, decorating, stretching, deep breathing, exercising, building a fort, which I absolutely love. I'm watching Community right now, and Troy and Abed are all about building their blanket forts, and I think that's really cool. So I love that she threw that in there. Singing, dancing, sipping on coffee from your favorite mug, organizing a closet. Organizing feels like self-care to me, because I feel like I'm kind of getting a grip on things, right? Like I'm not, it's like I'm slowing down and putting things where they go, and that's metaphorical, and I could probably get wrapped up in that forever, so I'll stop. But rearranging furniture, caring for plants, painting or doing something creative, baking, cooking, so trying new recipes or doing family recipes, I think is really special. So I like that idea a lot. And then puzzles, which is something that was so common in our RCA art studio. It's something that I really miss since being at home, is having a puzzle just set out and then having everybody kind of work on it together, and it causes you to slow your body down and kind of focus on one task at a time, and I love things like that. So I'm thinking that it might be time for me to bring a puzzle out and set it up on the table and kind of chip away at that. But I just wanted to share that with you, and then also ask what you're doing for self-care, and if you have anything that seems that it's not typically a self-care thing, what that is. Like I said, doing yard work sometimes feels like self-care for me. So yeah, let us know, leave a comment, and I appreciate you, and we'll see you next week. Thanks, guys.